Joining us today, head coach Eric Thibault. Eric, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Of course, our pleasure. How was the off season?
Fast. I don't know where it went. No, it was great. I mean, it's our league has now become more of a year-round league.
Yes.
You know, between players staying in market and staying in town, and free agency and draft prep. It's like the season's here again before you know it. But
100%.
that's great for us.
How does that affect you as just a coach, having to just be on? I'm assuming all times.
It's good. I mean, I think I'd much rather have some players here in town to work with and constantly keeping my brain fresh and turned on. So, no, it's been excellent. I think it's a sign of growth for the league that it feels like a year-round league, and you know, it only builds excitement for the season. And now here we are. Right.
And you mentioned it's a sprint at this point. All the ladies back in the building. Just how is it to now have everyone back? Now you can really hit the ground running and get going.
It's been great. We've been lucky that we've had some players in town now for a couple weeks, really starting to get some chemistry on the floor. We've got a practice under our belts now, and it's exciting to see what this team could be and how the pieces can fit together. Every team in the league thinks they have a great training camp, and so our challenge is to just keep going and developing through the year.
Right. Well, walk us through the roster at this point, because like you said, it is a young group, but we've got some veteran girls as well. A little bit of a dynamic there, but yeah, you mentioned chemistry. Just how is the roster taking shape in front of you now?
We've got a little bit of a core group that has been here before. You know, Ariel Atkins and Brittany Sykes and Shakira Austin, along with a couple other vets that have been here, and we've got some new faces both through free agency and the draft. So our biggest priority was to bring in people we thought were selfless and about the team and about having a championship culture, and also can do things like shoot the ball and space the floor and defend. So it's a good mix of returners, new faces, and now we get to see how it gels.
Right. Well, you mentioned the new faces, and the one I want to talk specifically about is Aaliyah Edwards, of course. Number 6 overall. What were you seeing in her that made you want to make her a Washington Mystic?
She felt like a Mystic from the second we talked to her. You know, she's just a super solid human being, about team, plays so just super hard, and we think she's going to just get more and more skilled as she develops. She's still really young, 21 years old. Those were the days. Those are the days being 21. But she thinks she's a fit in terms of position. She's a fit in how she goes about her job and how she prepares and takes care of herself. And then we think she's a fit on the floor.
Of course. Looking at her, and you look at like sky's the limit, I think, when you see a player like Aaliyah. But in terms of her and just Stephanie, the UConn Huskies, a little bit of chemistry there as well in terms of just how is she gelling so far with this group. I know it's a big transition from the college to the pros.
Aaliyah's only had a few days on the court. She had a really good practice yesterday, I thought. The good thing is she's smart. She picks things up quickly. That really helps in a short training camp. She's been well coached, obviously, coming from UConn and Gino and the staff there. Hers is just now this next challenge is learning the league. How fast can I get on with our terminology, and then just get confident and comfortable.
Understandable. Expectations, we always like to talk about them at the beginning of the year. And like you said, only one practice under the belt, so in terms of expectations, I'm not sure what you can give me, but you look at this group from day one. Where do you want to see them toward the end of the season?
I hope that as the season goes along, we continue to grow our thinking and our understanding of the game, our chemistry with each other, how we play. The thing we've rallied around is being the hardest competing team in the league. I think we have a chance to be a very good defensive team right from the jump. And then on the other side of the ball, it's just, can we keep building chemistry? Can we be a much smarter, more connected, fluid offensive team by August than we maybe are day one of camp?
So right now, day one, identity for this team. How would you describe, I know you mentioned you want to be the defensive front team, the aggressive team, but in terms of an identity, the culture set from here in day one, how would you describe this group?
Selfless, people who put the team first ahead of themselves, that love to be in the gym and compete. I find ourselves already as we plan practices just playing more, making sure we do a little bit of drill work and then playing, because we gotta build that chemistry. I think it's a group that likes to play, that wants to be coached, that wants to be tough. So that's exciting for a coach, obviously. Is
there a player or two that you're expecting to take another step forward this year that you would like to see maybe take control of this team more as a leader?
I think there's a couple pieces to that. As a leader, the group that we have returning that's kind of been our core group, Ariel, Brittany, Shakira, each in their own way. They're different personalities, they're different ages, but they all in their own way can be leaders for this group. One, starting with just how hard they play. But, Shakira is the one, obviously, because where she is in her age at being 23, that has a big growth curve ahead of her. And a lot of it's just how she's developed now herself as a pro, handling an injury, going through a rehab, working on her game. The sky's the limit for her, and we're going to try to help her get there.
Well, this is a squad, again, I think sky's the limit for this team specifically, but last 2 seasons, you make the playoffs, you lose the first round. What is it going to take to get that extra step to now making a deep run into the postseason?
I think we really have to know who we are when we get to that stage of the season. Partly last year because of injuries and kinks that were thrown in the middle of the season, we were still kind of trying to figure it out in the playoffs, which is a really hard thing to do. We got to be good on both sides of the ball. You can't be a great team and just be kind of one-dimensional. We're going to try to be maybe a little bit more unpredictable offensively, play without the ball a little bit more maybe than we have in the last couple of years. And, you need a little luck along the way too. That never hurts.
Of course. Nope. We always love luck around here for sure. When you look at 2019 and now 4 or 5 years later at this point, getting this team back to the standard that was set here back then, how far off, I don't know if that's the right terminology, but you know what that team looks like. You know what a championship team looks like. How many steps or how far away do you think you are from taking that major step forward to being once again a championship program?
I think we've tried through the offseason to reimagine what the next Mystics championship team looks like. And we kind of had a cycle and a group that was here, and we tried to keep that window open as long as we could. But, it was time for some change. And we've got some pieces that we think can be at the heart of that. But the next team is going to have to be a team that has really been cohesive, that has committed over a long period of time to being about the right things, that has to try to get smarter and tougher and more skilled. And so it's, you don't know where necessarily how the journey is going to go, but you got to stay committed to the path that you're on.
100%. Well, speaking of the journey, right when we sat down, you mentioned just the growth of the game in the off season, whether that was last year's championship, WNBA, the college season. Now, so much momentum heading into this WNBA season now. As a coach, from your perspective, just how is it when you soak that and you see the new eyes, the new viewership on this game that you hold so near and dear to your heart?
It's fantastic. It's what all of us that have been in the league a long time have been hoping for. We know we're going to have new eyeballs in the league. It's great. That's what we've all wanted for this league and for the players in it, for the people that have loved it, for the fans that have loved it. It's going to be front and center more in the sports landscape. And we really want it to be a Big Tent. Like whether you've been a WNBA lifer as a fan or whether you're new to the game or new to our league at least, there's room for everybody, and we think we have a special league, and we're really excited to showcase it to more people. Is
there a sense of finally, like the talent's always been there, but now it's like a hello, welcome to the party?
For sure, and I think I think the goal for the league, for everybody that covers it, is it's a big spotlight, and somebody like Caitlin Clark comes in with a huge audience. So now, how do we broaden that out to tell the stories of the people that are in the league? To show the the rivalries, the competitiveness, the great players that have paved the way, as she's been quick to say. And I think people are going to fall in love with the league that maybe haven't seen it before.
I think so as well, and people are going to fall in love with this new Mystic squad as well. I know they already are. So thank you so much, Eric Thibault, sitting down with us today.